First a headphone jack, the other slots on top of the MacBook Pros, and now we got this, at what point are we just going to be buying air? Hey, welcome back to another Thread Daily, once again with your boy Charlie, one of the senior content writers here at thread.com. I'm back today hitting you with another sustainability, social change story. I'm back again, baby. Today I'm talking to you about Apple's brand new iPhone, the iPhone 12. Some of you out there can probably guess what I'm going to be talking about today, but I am going to be mentioning, of course, that Apple's iPhone will no longer come with a charger or headphones or any kind of wire of any description. It's a controversial move, kind of has been memed online, lots of complaints from people. Apple says it's made the move to lower its carbon footprint and overall reduce its impact on the environment. And while that may seem good on the surface, a bit of a nitty-gritty look into the situation will show that it's probably more for profits and back-end wallet growth than it is anything else. So while it's good to see a big tech company talking openly about production rates, climate change effects and everything else in between, I'm a little bit skeptical and a bit cynical about what this actually will do for the greater good of the environment on the whole. This could be the start of a positive movement in general, or it could just be a flash in the pan for a company that has a habit of just saying things for marketing purposes rather than true, genuine action. With all that Apple bashing aside, there are some positives for the environment that this will have objectively. First of all, Apple are making this move because they kind of assume that you've already got chargers, headphones, and everything else in between, because there's currently 2 billion of them in circulation around the world. Apple also claims that by removing these items from the box as standard, they're also reducing the need for heavy or precious metals in building the components required for these pieces. On top of that, the packaging for the iPhone itself can be smaller, which allows for more efficient transportation at the end of the phone's production. That will obviously reduce the overall carbon footprint of the iPhone from producer to consumer. In total, Apple is claiming that this move will reduce its overall carbon emissions by 2 million metric tons a year, which is the equivalent of 450,000 cars on the roads for an entire 12 months, which sounds like a lot, especially in your marketing, and can be a good hook to get consumers in on buying your product. However, you'll see in the grander scheme of things, particularly as far as e-waste is concerned, it doesn't really make that big of a dent. E-waste refers to any waste that's produced by electronic items, most notably laptops, smart fridges, products like that, headphones as well, chargers, wires, anything like that is classed as e-waste. And it's predicted that by 2030 we'll have over 74 million tons of it produced every single year. That is crazy. Chargers for items such as iPhones only make up 0.1% of all global e-waste every single year. Apple's themselves will only produce about half of these chargers, which means that their overall contribution to the e-waste problem, specifically with chargers, is around 0.05%, which is really not that big. So, in conclusion of all those numbers, cutting out the chargers causes major headaches for consumers, but has a minimal impact on the actual environment. It also has big ramifications for profits for Apple, because now consumers will now have to buy these things separately for an extra price, and those things ain't gonna be cheap.
I went into a Tesco's recently. Just the wire, not even with the plug, just the wire for the charger was like £29.
It's already happening, people.
£29!
Tim Cook's gonna be demanding you pay him to come down your chimney dressed as Santa this year. All your presents are going to be Apple branded. I'm telling you. So this is important because many people have never bought iPhones before, particularly younger Gen Zers. I know you're out there. Many first-time buyers will now have to buy a charger, headphones and wires completely separately, which means 3 separate products in 3 separate boxes, potentially from 3 different suppliers. That means 3 times the overall packaging of a traditional iPhone box with everything included. That means that the overall carbon footprint of your purchase of a phone will now be bigger than what it was before, making the entire thing redundant, except for that profit margin. With all that bashing done, you're probably wondering what can Apple do to genuinely help the environment in real ways that isn't just removing products from the box. First, most obvious thing that Apple could do is invest more seriously in sustainable e-waste removal systems. That is a lot, that is a tongue twister and a half. Most e-waste in the US ends up in developing nations illegally. It is recycled in unregulated ways that usually means it's unsafe and unprotected, and the workers that do recycle the items are not legally covered. It's very unethical, unmoral, and it should not be happening. Apple has taken some steps publicly so far to at least address the issue of e-waste, albeit it's kind of in a thinly veiled marketing tactic. They've produced 2 smart robots in the US that you can see fancy videos of. Both of them are called Daisy and Liam, and they're both used to specifically repurpose old, unwanted and unused iPhones. That's all well and good, but there's only 2 of them, and they can't really be used en masse. So it probably doesn't take a genius to see that these kind of initiatives are kind of just for show. With that being said, Apple has done a few things that deserve a mention. Recently, Apple has been running entirely on renewable energy, which means it has a zero carbon emission output for all of its Genius bars, all its product production, and everything in between, which is obviously something worth showing and commendable for them for that. I'm not going to completely bash them the entire video. However, the company seems to have a history still of continually not taking e-waste seriously. Most recently, the UK government in September called out Apple for not caring enough about its e-waste problem, as it asked Tim Cook specifically to turn up to the House of Commons to discuss e-waste. He refused to turn up, and it was all awkward. So, until we see Tim Cook show up to these meetings, until we see Apple properly address the e-waste problem seriously, until we see them actually take initiative that isn't just removing products and selling them separately, we should remain vigilant and on their case. And other companies while we're at it. Shout out Windows, Apple, all the tech firms, Facebook, Google, all of them. Continue to push for them to be greener, to be safer, to be better. Good night and God bless. Let me know if you use iPhone. What do you think about the iPhone 12? Are you fuming about the lack of headphones? Are you feeling about the lack of chargers? How are you feeling about it? Do you reckon you'll get one, knowing all this green stuff? Let us know in the comments below. You can read the full story on thread.com, our official website. It's great, it's banging. We've got some new features on there, check it out. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content just like this. I'm going to say it until the cows come home. We're hoping for 3K by Christmas, baby. Let's go, I know you're out there. We can do it. Let's go. God bless. Let's do a deep dive into the situation, thread style.
We've never done that before.
Money, money, make it right.